2025 saw the St Andrews Links Trophy continue to grow in stature as one of the leading events in the world of men's amateur golf. Players continue to make the trip to the home of golf from all over the world, drawn to the chance of playing on golf's most famous links and the opportunity to earn some serious world ranking points. There's also a chance to take a big step towards gaining a place at the Open Championship at Royal Portrush, as the tournament now counts as part of the Open Amateur Series. Two of the world's top 10 ranked amateur golfers were here this week. Tommy Morrison from the USA teed it up for round 1 on the Jubilee course alongside the reigning Scottish amateur champion Alexander Farmer and Matthew Dodberry, who had earned a place at last year's Open Championship at Royal Troon by coming through final qualifying. Morrison would increasingly struggle in the ever-changing conditions over the first 2 days. And as it was, only Alexander would make the cut from this 3-ball as he showed some smart approach play to recover from a double bogey on his opening hole. He finished joint 21st alongside another 7 golfers from 7 different countries. South Africa's Christian Maas was the other top 10 player in the field, and he fared much better, staying close to the leaders for most of the tournament. 2 players tied for the lead after the opening round. However, Lauren Appel from the Netherlands would only just make the cut after a difficult second round. But he would move up the leaderboard over the final 2 rounds to finish in a tie for 15th place. Hugo Malcor from France was the other player tied at the top after day 1 on 5 under. This fine approach at the last would be converted for a birdie-birdie finish. He would keep his challenge going as the players moved onto the old course for the second round on a Saturday that really did have the 4 seasons weather-wise. A birdie here on the par 5 5th hole would help him towards a 2 under par 70 as he reached the halfway point 7 under par in joint 5th. Ireland's Thomas Higgins had the second best round of the day on day 2. A brilliant 65 was finished off with a birdie on the last after this neat chip onto the green. He was 9 under par after 36 holes. There were 2 Scotsmen at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the day. Niall Shields Donegan had started the day in 3rd place and would follow his 68 on the Jubilee course with a 6 under par 66 on the old course. A great iron shot into 16 would set up a tap-in birdie, but as he played the last in front of the crowds, he had to hole a much longer putt for his final birdie of the day.
Nice putt, Niall.
Round of the day though went to Cameron Adam. This was his approach into 16 as he was putting together quite a remarkable back 9 score on his way to an 8 under par 64. He holed the putt to give him his 7th birdie of the day. But how would he cope with one of the most difficult par 4s in the world at 17? Well, he would do it by knocking his approach to 10 feet and holing the putt. He didn't manage a birdie at the last, but could enjoy a 2-shot lead heading into the final day. Conditions were dry but fairly windy for the 53 golfers who made the cut at 2 under par. Looking to get a fast start was Niall Shields Donegan with this approach at the second, which he would convert for a birdie. But as the round progressed, he would begin to struggle and it would be playing partner Cameron Adam who would keep his challenge more on track. Further ahead, Woburn's Mark Stockdale was on his way to a morning 68. A nice birdie here at 9 was one of 6 as he shot his second consecutive 4 under par round on the old course. Hugo Malcor would see this putt drop on 5, not for a birdie, but for an eagle as he too tried to close the gap to the top. A 70 for the Frenchman, leaving him plenty to do in his afternoon round to keep up with the leaders. Cameron Adam wasn't quite repeating his heroics of day 2 yet and found the fairway bunker here on 9, but after playing out sideways he would recover well with this great chip and make his par. Putting together the second best round of the morning though was Thomas Higgins. This birdie on 11 gave him his second 2 of the round as he moved into the lead at 12 under par. By the time he reached the last, he was 4 under par for the day, 13 under par for the tournament, and his ball striking was so good he only needed an iron to send his tee shot up onto the green on a hole that measures 354 yards long. He would just miss getting his third 2 of the round and have to settle for a birdie 3, but that was good enough to be leading heading into the final round. Unfortunately for Thomas, he couldn't keep the good play going and would fall back to finish tied 6th after a 3 over par afternoon round. Now remember I said that Higgins had the second best round of the morning, while the best score in round 3 belonged to fellow Irishman John Doyle. He was 6 under par for his third round and continued that impressive play in round 4. This birdie at 11 would move him to 14 under par for the tournament. Another here at 12 would move him into the lead at 15 under par as he left almost everyone behind with his remarkable Sunday scoring. The only golfer that could keep up with him was Cameron Adam. He had holed a nice birdie putt here on 6 to move him to 15 under par, but that was followed by 6 straight pars. Meanwhile, John Doyle had double bogeyed 13, but that didn't seem to affect him as he birdied 14, 15, and again after this approach at 16, he would get yet another birdie, his 9th of the round so far. After taking on a tight line over the hotel at 17, he would give himself another birdie chance. This time though, he raced it past the hole, leaving this awkward putt to save par. Nicely done, and it was on to the last. Back at 14, Cameron Adam would finally pick up another shot after narrowly missing out on his second eagle of the day at this hole. He was now on 16 under alongside John Doyle. Up on 18, John Doyle played another nice shot onto the green, but could he convert for his 10th birdie of the round and his 16th of a remarkable day on the old course. Yes, he could. A phenomenal performance, shooting a 65 to follow his morning 66 and post a clubhouse lead of 17 under par. Back on 15, Cameron Adam was having to work hard to keep in touch, holing this tricky par putt after overshooting the green with his approach. After a par at 16, Cameron found the rough on 17 with his drive. So how would he handle this toughest of approach shots onto the green? Well, he was asking the wind to help him there, and maybe it did. 2 putts for a par meant he needed a birdie at the last to force a playoff. Up on the green, Christian Mass was looking to finish his tournament with a birdie of his own. Tied 6th for the South African after a solid week here in St Andrews. Coming up behind though, Cameron Adam had put his drive just short left of the green. An up and down was needed to force a playoff, and he gave himself a chance with a decent chip, but there was still a tricky 5-foot putt to hole as the crowd watched from every vantage point. Mark Stockdale up there on the St Rule Club balcony looking down after finishing 3rd this year. So could Cameron get his birdie to force that playoff? A brilliant effort, and we were back off down the first hole to find a winner from John Doyle and Cameron Adam after they both finished with an impressive 17 under par score. Both players would find the green in 2, with John Doyle to putt first. He came up short. So could Cameron win with a birdie? Not to be, so back over to John, whose putt had come up 3 to 4 feet short. Heartache for the Irishman as he watched the putt lip out and leave Cameron Adam this short putt to see him crowned St Andrews Links Trophy champion for 2025.
Congratulations on being this year's winner of the St Andrews Links Trophy. How does it feel?
Awesome. Yeah, it was a long day out there, kind of going out with a lead and kind of having to battle through the day, so it's definitely really satisfying now that it's all done.
And did you know you needed to birdie the last to force a playoff?
I knew that I needed to pick up a few coming in, so yeah, when I was standing on the last I knew I needed to make it, yeah.
And how did it feel heading into that first playoff hole? What was going through your head?
I was fortunate that I was just kind of fresh off 18, so I was still in the zone, still going, a little bit of nerves, but yeah, I was sort of quietly confident,
And obviously winning this event, you get points on the Open Amateur Series Order of Merit. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's awesome. It's great for the game that they're doing that and giving amateurs the opportunity to qualify for the Open. So, yeah, I'm excited. Just got to go keep playing well.
Congratulations again to Cameron Adam, winner of the 2025 St Andrews Links Trophy.